Hey Jewel, today we're going to be going over a basic summary of derivatives and integrals that you should know for Calc A, B, and I guess C, but let's just start. Okay, I hope that looks okay. Alright, so first is like the most basic derivative. So by now you should know that anything that looks like d over dx means the derivative of the function. And so today's function is ku. K represents any constant, okay? Like any and all constant. And constants are real numbers. And then, so say there's like a 2 or a 3 or a 15, you know? And then u is any like function. So say it's x, pretend u is x, so it would have been like 15x. And you're trying to take the derivative of 15x. So the derivative is k, you leave the constant, so it'd be 15, times the derivative of u. Okay, that is how the derivative of u looks like. So this might be confusing. Let's turn it into real practice. So say the function is 15x like we were saying. Oh, how about 15x squared? Because the derivative of x alone, say that was a function, if y equals x, then the derivative is 1. So that's not a very good example. Let's do x squared, okay? So if y equals 15x squared, the derivative is, let's follow the formula. So k, we're just going to take out the constant k, 15. That's the constant, right? Because k is this one, and u is this one. Now, we have to multiply by the derivative of u. What is the derivative of x squared? That is 2x. So, the derivative is 30x, because 15 times 2 is 30 times x. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Now, moving on. So this is the basic formula you should know. So the derivative of any constant times a function is the constant times the derivative of that function. I might have made it sound way more complicated than it needs to be, but that is the basic concept that you will be using all the time. Oh, okay. Now moving on. Number 2. The derivative of a constant k is 0. Remember, constant is all real numbers. So if y equals 3, the derivative of 3 is 0. If y equals 100, the derivative of 100 is 0. So in an equation, if say y equals x squared plus x plus 5, the derivative is 2x plus 1 plus 0. Remember, this is the constant, so this is 0. The derivative of x is 1, and x squared turns into 2x. Hopefully that made sense. This is the next equation you should know. Okay, 3. Okay, this is a very important equation as well, and it's called the product rule. So this is used for any like function that is multiplied together. So the derivative of u times v is the derivative of u times v, the original v, plus the original u times the derivative of v. It's really simple if you try to see it, okay? So it's basically a switch. So you take the derivative of one and leave the other, and then you take the derivative of the other one and leave the other. I don't really like this format, so I'm going to change it to y equals uv, then the derivative is equal to uv plus vu. So if you see the asterisk is the derivative. So you leave v here and you leave u here. Whatever looks better to you, just memorize that form. Basically, remember that, yeah, okay, that's it. I don't want to confuse you anymore. So let's do an example, okay? So say it's y equals x squared times y cubed. The derivative, so, no. Okay, I made a mistake, hold on. It's all about the visuals. We have to make it look nice. Okay, let's use this, right? This formula. This is u, this is v, okay? So if this turns into uv plus vu, let's do that. So what's u? X. What is the derivative of u? 2x. What's v? V is y cubed. Plus the derivative of v. What's the derivative of v? 3y squared. And then what's u? U is x squared times x squared. There you go. That's the answer. That's your answer. Okay, hopefully you can remember. This is your next formula. Okay, 4. Now this is similar in that it's another formula, but it's just for division, okay? That is the product rule. This is called product rule. This is the quotient rule. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the quotient rule. So it's gonna be any function divided by another function, okay? It's gonna be similar, but a little more complex. So the derivative of u times v minus u times the derivative of v all over v squared. All right? So it's practically the same on top, right? Except there's a minus in the middle. And then you take the bottom and you square it. Don't forget this, because I always forget this. Now, I didn't memorize this formula like this. It looks confusing. I remembered it like this. There's like a rhyme. It goes low d high minus high d low over low low. So that looks confusing, but if you think about it, it's just like this. High over low. So whatever number's up here is called high, whatever's numbers down here is called low. It's basically low, the low number, and then the derivative of the high number minus the high number times the derivative of the low number, all over low times low squared, like v squared. It's the same thing, but this uses letters, so whatever's, easier for you to memorize, do that. Let's do an example. Y equals, let's use the same numbers. X squared over y cubed. Okay, so you're gonna remember that this is the high number and this is the low number, okay? So the derivative, let's go with this. We're first gonna do this, low d high. So the low number is y cubed. D high is the derivative of the high, which is x squared is the high number and the derivative is 2x times 2x. Minus high d low. High number, d low, derivative of the lower number over low, basically y cubed times y cubed. Or if you want, you can write it y cubed parentheses, squared. So after you find that, you'd simplify it, okay? So 2xy cubed minus 3x squared y squared over y to the 6th power. And there's your answer. It's pretty simple. You just have to memorize these formulas. Let's see, I don't know which one you prefer, but I'll just box this one in, okay? Okay. I think these are the basic things that you should know. These are good. I think we can stop here. Yeah, that looks good. I think the only other thing you should know is the power rule. Basically, it goes like this. Okay, it goes like this. Hold on, I need to look something up real quick. Okay, it goes like this. So we can consider this 5 if you want, or this can be separate, I don't know. This is fine. So if y equals x to the n, okay? N would be like a constant or anything really. X is a function, okay? The derivative is you would take n and you'd put it in front, okay? So it'd be n times x to the n plus 1. N plus 1 after you move it there, okay? So let's do an example. It's confusing, but we'll do an example. Y equals, okay, it's n times x to the n minus 1, okay? Now pretend y equals what we've been using, x squared. Now the derivative, I should explain this before, but hopefully I did, okay. Let's move 2 to the front, 2x, 2 minus 1 is 1. And since it's 1, we don't have to put anything, because that's what x is. So let's do another example. Y equals y cubed, like we've been using. The derivative of y is 3 in the front, 3y, and then 3 minus 1 is 2 squared. That's your answer. Okay, so I hope that helped, Jewel, and yeah, there's the derivatives and integrals to know. Bye.